Okay, so it's the start of a new week. Back on the paver sidewalk project. Over the weekend, it rained. It rained Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and the French drain has done a super job. Everything drains out completely. The normally wet spot in the yard is no water in it. It's not soggy. Drained right out, and then at the end of the drain out at the street, water has been flowing out that way, so everything's working the way it was supposed to, and the sidewalk area is draining off correctly. So I'm going to get started on putting these paver bricks down. Put the first bricks down now, so let's get started. Okay, so here we go, getting started on this brick paver job finally. I tell you, I didn't know this job was going to be so big. Okay, you see me there using my Harbor Freight tools. I went to Harbor Freight and bought that cutter. Paid $12 for it. That's what I'd suggest you do. This tool's going to get abused. I see all these battery powered tools for doing this for $100, $120, $189. I paid $12 for this thing, and it does a super job. And if it breaks during the job, hey, I've lost $12. So that's what I would suggest you do also. I also bought the knee pads. They were like $5. I bought that hammer. I bought the rubber mallet, and I bought the knee pad there. The kneeling pad, all of that at Harbor Freight. Paid next to nothing for it. So if I throw it away after the job or if it breaks, hey, I haven't lost anything. So that's what I would suggest you do also if you have a job like this. I might not ever do a job like this again. These tools may not ever be used, so I don't care. I would not go out and buy expensive tools to do jobs like this. So anyway, I got started there. You see I put the sand down. Now the sand needs to be up to an inch. So I have 3/4 inch tubing that I purchased at Lowe's, and I lay that down on the floor of the area of the sidewalk on top of the paver gravel, dense grade, and then I put the sand over top. And what that does is I can grade that off. That gives me a good flat bed that is exactly 1 inch in depth. So it's really a handy little tool to use when you're doing this. Now, got into this job. These pavers have little burrs on each side. They're meant to hold these things together. They're little bumps. And they're like 2 on one side, 1 on the other, 2 on the end. They're just, and they're all done the same way. But what it does, it holds the things together, but it naturally starts turning to the right if you're not really careful and watch it. I don't know, maybe there's a certain way to use these notches on the sides of these pavers. Maybe there's a way you're supposed to use them that I don't know about, but it just for some reason sends it to the right. So you got to be real aware that it's trying to go to the right. And of course, when you're doing a paver job like this, or any job doing the sidewalk, driveway, anything like that, you got to constantly be aware of levels. And so I've leveled this thing. Left, right, front, back, up, down, every way I could look to level it, and I have to keep in mind that I'm going to be coming up to a step. I have to install a step, actually a pair of steps, and that's in the next video. Now I've already recorded that video and I know what happens, and you'll have to watch that. It's very interesting what happens. So here I am still in, there's Ayla there. She's in every video. She's trying to get cool. I caught her digging a hole in my fresh grass there to try to get cool. So I got mad at her. See, she got up because she was digging a hole. But here I am going on with the pavers. This has been a much bigger job than I had anticipated. Didn't know I was going to have to do all the drainage work. Needed to be done anyway, so I'm glad. I'm glad these things are getting done. There's Ayla asking me to quit. She wants to quit. I'm glad these things are getting done. These are things we wanted to do to the house since we moved in. So, I'm glad these things are getting done, but this has turned into a much, much bigger job than I had anticipated. The expense is about what I thought. A little cheaper maybe, but it's just the labor that's been involved. So, going on with the pavers. Extremely hot day. It's in the 90s. I got an early start, but I had to go get some equipment that morning. So it's getting late in the day. It's getting extremely hot. Getting close to where the first step is going to be. Now I have to keep in mind these bricks have to get to a point. They start going up, and then I know I need a step. So I have to figure where I'm going to stop, break it off. Then I have to cut some half bricks, and I can't do it too early, because if I do it too early, the rise will be too much for the step. So it's a hard thing to figure out. There may be some formula or calculation, or I don't know what that is. Maybe I should have done more research on this job. I don't know where you decide where the step goes, but and then keep in mind you have to keep these bricks all in line, all tight into the sand, into the bed while you're working. When we get all these things in, we're going to lock them all in, but right now I have to get them all in. So there you see my assortment of tools from Harbor Freight, everything except for that nice wooden level that my father gave me. That's a really nice level there. But all the other tools are from Harbor Freight. I think all of them combined is about $30. So that's what I suggest you do for jobs like this if you can. Don't go out and buy expensive tools. The ones from Harbor Freight do just as well, unless you're a contractor or you're going to be using these things every day. Hey, those cheap tools, they work, in my experience, they work just as good for jobs like this. And my bricks are about 100 feet away, and they're on a trailer, so I have to go back and get the bricks. So I'm taking 16 bricks at a time. 16 bricks is pretty heavy. You load the wheelbarrow and you have to move that thing. 16 bricks is plenty enough to go. I know it makes for a lot of trips, but the weight is manageable. Any more than that, it's too much. Continuing on, taking the bricks 4 at a time, 16 from the back, then I take 4 at a time up to the front. Yeah, I could probably get a big pile, but 4 to work with at a time is plenty, because you have to lock them in and to make sure they're down low, they're level, 4 is plenty to work with at a time. Knee pad there, and the cheap knee pads that I'm wearing, they are great, much better than the expensive ones that I got. They're just enough to do what I need to do, and with that pad there, that's a perfect thing for the job. Now now you can notice, you see the levels going up. There's an incline. Well, that causes an issue in the next video. I'll tell you, I've already experienced it. I know what's happening there. This is why I'm standing there making calculations. I'm looking because I'm starting to wonder about some things, what's going to happen here. I'm seeing some things that I'm not quite sure of, and that's why you see me slowing down, taking a look, because I'm looking ahead at some things that I see some issues that may be a problem. And once again, I'm going for the bricks. I guess Ayla's already gone in by now. I don't see her. And there's a dead blow hammer. It's a hammer that has a shot in it and allows all of the force to be impacted on the surface. It's exactly what you need for this job. And like I say, here I am calculating some things. I'm starting to see something that I'm really concerned with. Something doesn't quite look right. You'll have to watch the next video to see what I'm talking about. Now, this is a job that I would say anybody could do this job. This is you shouldn't be afraid of doing this. You see how I have dug out the area. I put in 5.5 inches of dense grade gravel. I compacted it down. Anybody can do that. You mark off your area. Anybody can do that. There was a lot of shovel work. It was some very, very hard work. Anybody can do this though. I simply put down 1 inch bed of sand, and I put the bricks down. So I think anybody can do this job. Even people with physical limitations can do it. You can take your time. If you have a small area, you can take your time and work at your own pace. So this is not a job that you have to have some great specialty to do. If you really want to do this and you're determined to do it, you can do it. I don't know about land grading and all that type of thing, but you see I have leveled this ground off. I have planted the grass, and it's actually growing now. There's actually grass in that straw now. I have a pretty good stand of grass there. I have grown grass in the past, so I knew how to do it, but anybody can do that. You can level your ground off and prepare it for the seeds, and the main thing about that is just keeping it wet. So everything you see here, there's nothing that anybody couldn't do if they really want to do it. And it's just brick at a time. It's slow. I'm on my 3rd day of paving now, putting the pavers down. So, all right. And again, this is what it looked like before. So, that's going to do it for this episode. Like, share, and subscribe. That's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.